guys, I'm really excited to be here in this Rescue podcast. And today I'm going to talk about a little bit about my path in career. So I am Vitória, AR creator from São Paulo, Brazil, and I am on my last semester of Public Relations Bachelor. I've been working with filters since 2019, and now I have my own company called Filtros para Stories. Back in 2019, I was reading some news at my old intern job, and then I just find out about creating filters. I was a person that would love to use some beauty filters, and when I found out that, I was just amazed by the opportunity to create something that I would use in the future. So at first, I must admit that I find out really hard to do it. And I've already had some experience in designing or programming because when I was young, when I was 14, I would love to be a blogger. So I started to learn a little bit about Photoshop, Illustrator, some HTML as well. And then I just gave another try in 2020. And then I started to learn by myself, and I found out some tutorials on YouTube. They didn't have some Portuguese tutorials, so I started to learn in English, and then I would also learn in Dutch, also in Thailandese, even that I didn't understand a word. You just needed to follow all the tutorials. I was following every step, and then you could create your first filter. Within some month, within months making filters, it passed just from a hobby, and I created my real business, and it became also my first source of income. I remember that I got really excited when I got my first client. It was a beauty company, and we just made some random questions, and the outcome of this filter was really good. So then I started to create more and more and more. Also, I realized that I had to build up my business in a serious and competitive way. So I had to stand out in the market. And back then, the filters were just starting in Brazil. It was in 2020, and I just saw the opportunity to create something new. And then I started to create a trustful portfolio, and it was really important to show some credibility and to get bigger and bigger clients. In the beginning, also, everything was just a hobby. And when I realized that it could be a work for real, and I started to work on my portfolio, everything changed. So every time that I'm talking with someone, I say that you need to be really patient and really persistent as well, because you need to learn a lot of new things, and also you need to try your ideas. It's not like, oh, I need to do it now and you have it done by the moment. You need to work a lot on it, but when you see the results, it's really nice, and when you see everyone using, you get really excited. And also, nowadays, you have a lot of tutorials on YouTube, on internet. You have also the Facebook community, which is really nice. Everyone is really helpful. Every time that I have a doubt, I just go there and I talk with a lot of creators, and they reply to you. So it's a really helpful community, I would say. And also, if I have one tip to give you when you're starting, you don't need to be afraid of everything. You need to learn everything step by step, and everything will get done eventually. I recommend you to I would recommend you to create a workflow for your work. So when you have a client, you need to get the brief done in, sorry, when you have a client, you need to have the briefing done, and then you need to think about all the possibilities that you can give it to this client. And you can create pretty much everything with filters. I always tell to my clients that creativity is the limit, because we can create everything with filters. You just need to be creative and think about things out of box. Um, Also, if I can give you an advice, is to be curious and to look at reference everywhere. If you are watching a movie, if you are going to an art exhibition, if you are reading a book, you can get reference from everywhere. So you just need to be curious and look for everything. And also be patient and never stop studying. And when I was starting with the filters, I had some previously knowledge about Photoshop and Illustrator, also a little about After Effects. But when you are creating the filters, you just think about all the possibilities, and then you need to learn and you need to learn more every time. Creating filters is just testing new possibilities, and this is what amazes me in this whole creation. Let me see what else I can say. It's really nice to see when people are using your filters. Sometimes my friends, they just send me some DMs showing some famous people using my filters, and I'm just like, oh my god, I never thought this would be possible. Just like I said, when I was starting, it was just a hobby, and within months it started to be a real work, and nowadays I only work with filters. I am finishing my bachelor's in communication, but I also want to learn more and more about tech every time, because I really think it's the future. You don't need to. Nowadays, when I was starting, I could only make filters for Instagram, and nowadays here in Brazil, you are allowed to create filters for TikTok and Snapchat as well. If you're going to learn now, I would recommend you to start by CreatAR, or just choose ones to start with, because they are similar in their way to create the filters, but every platforms has their own language, I would say. So if you start to learn by one, then you jump to the other one. And it's really nice. Every platform has its own features, and you can learn every time more. Now I would like to show you a little bit about my first filters and the filters that I'm creating now. I'm gonna share my screen. So this one is the first filter that I developed in 2019. It was in December, so it was the beginning. I started with this one, and as I said, I thought it was really hard to do it, so I didn't continue back then. It was just a simple makeup filter with these flowers, some hearts, and these eyelashes that looks terrible, but it was the first one and I was really happy. But then I just stopped it. And then on July and June, I started to do it again. And this was a butterfly filter that I learned how to do the screen tap. So every time that you screen tap, it changed. It had some different butterflies eyeliners, and I was really happy with this one. And it was the moment that I thought that I would continue to do more and more. It was also in June, and then in this one I started to play with some animation sequence, to do some glitter and to do this thing on the face. It was kind of moon, and this one had a screen tap as well. I was really happy with this one. So even at the beginning, I tried to do some different things that were in the market because people were only doing some beauty makeup, but I would like to try something new. So I started to do some crazy filters. This one was a fire, and I did those all in the same month. I would spend my whole night doing it. And then I would like to show the recent ones. Now I mainly work with some brands. So my main requested filter are the game ones. We have this one that is for a meat brand. And then you just have to escape from the fire, and when you escape from the fire, when you get catch, the meat get darker and you burn the meat. So I'm gonna show you the first filter that I developed. So it was back then in 2019. It was just a basic filter with makeup, these horrible lashes, but it got better with the time. And I just created an easy face paint filter, and I stopped to develop. And back then I stopped to develop because I thought it was really hard. And then back in 2020, I got back to develop the filters. So this one is a basic butterfly filter, and then I learned how to screen tap. So this one is a screen tap filter that you can change the highliners, which are the butterfly highliners. And then I learned how to use the animation sequence, which I used to create those glitters on the screen and on the face as well. And this one I learned how to use the screen tap as well. So we have the screen tap and the animation sequence and makeup in this filter. All these ones I created like in 1 week. I spent all my nights doing them because I got really excited when I first uploaded my first filter. When I saw my friends using, I got really excited. So I would prefer to stay at my home creating filters than going out. And this one is the first one with a beauty makeup. This one I really like. I still like these ones. And so all of these were my first filters. I made watching a lot of tutorials, and then I developed them on Photoshop. And nowadays I mainly work with some brands. So my main requested filter are the game ones. I'm gonna show you one that it was a little bit hard to do it, but I love the outcome. It was for a brand that is like a gummy hair that you eat for a hair gets longer. So every time that you eat those gummies, you see that it's growing, your power is growing, and your hair is getting beautier. So this one is really fun. I love this, and I love the numbers, the results. Later I can see if I can share with you. And also there's this game that you are cleaning the ocean. We made to make people aware of cleaning the ocean. So you need to just, let me see if it's working. You just need to shake your head to get those trashes away. And as you're cleaning the ocean, all the ocean is getting brighter. So you're saving the ocean. Also, there's this Puma filter, where it's just a little, it's like a play that you have some tasks. Every time that you tap the screen, you have a task. So you need to ask your friend to go for a walk for about 1 hour. The other one is to drink 2 liters of water at the moment. So it's just some health games. Recently, I developed a filter that I didn't thought this would happen, but within 2 weeks, this had like 6 millions of views, and it's just like a basic filter. Nothing really happens, but it's just to say that sometimes we develop really hard filters, really some filters that demands a lot of features, but sometimes when we spend a lot of times doing those filters, it didn't work well. Sometimes when we develop some basic filters, it just becomes a trend, which is really fun. So this one became a trend, and it's just a screen tap filter where you can change your color palette and you can see which one fits better to you. And this one got like 6 million of views within 2 weeks, so it's really impressive. Also, I would like to show this one, which is a business card that we made for a bank here in Brazil. And every time that I creating an idea for a filter, I try to think about many possibilities without just on Instagram. So this filter, they were creating their new card, their new business card, and they print on them a QR code that takes instantly to their Instagram filter. So if you have their card, you can just point your camera to the QR code and then you get to this filter, which I love the outcome as well. Every time it recognizes its logo, this animation starts. So it is a really fun and creative way to show your work to the world. It's not only your business card, but is an augmented reality business card. And this one is for the competitions. So if you're thinking about starting this journey, I would recommend you to join the Facebook group, because the Facebook community, they have a lot of contests, they have a lot of tutorials, and it is really helpful. Every time they are posting new contests, and I like to join them. And this one is the cyberpunk contest. I developed this filter using those features that we have animation sequence, we have some makeup, we have 3D objects. And recently they have the Spark Words competition, and I won with this filter, which is basically a gallery that you can walk in, and also you can choose your photo, and it's like a memory gallery. In this case, I am back in Australia, which is a really nice memory for me, and I won in this competition, which was really nice. And also this one is a Coca-Cola game, where also the main feature is a game, but is also about saving the planet. Here we have some questions, like how to throw PET bottles. Is it true or false? So every time you move your head, you are just given the right or the wrong answer. And also down you have if it's the right answer, and if you got it wrong, what is the real answer. So it's more like an informative filter. And here are some fun filters. This one is for the Doja Cat's song. It was mainly for fun that I made. But we have hair segmentation, we have some makeup, we have some lining. I really like it. And to finish is just to encourage your and to finish, I would like to encourage you guys to start in this journey because it's really nice. You can work with a lot of brands. I've worked with brands that I never thought I would be working with them. And not only this, but all the possibilities that you have with AR. You can think about anything and you can try to do it. You can test, and you can have the results on your phone. It's really nice. And here are some brands that we've worked in these 2 years that I have been working with AR. So I would like to say that anything is impossible. So we have some Puma, Sherry Williams, Aussie, we have some Yamaha, Coca-Cola. So I would like to say that if you're thinking about starting, you can start now. It's never late. You have a lot of opportunities. You have a lot of platforms that are trying to push because I really think it's the future.